Hey guys, enter the stars. As promised, we decoded Wonder Woman. Now, at the core of this film is the love interest, Chris Pine, which I call Chris Pineal, because he is at the core. And what he does is, this becomes the reason, the excuse that Wonder Woman has that finally convinces her that she's going to go to the light side instead of the dark side. And there you see her pineal headband that represents Christ, the cross. And then they depict Christ clearly in this next scene, because this is what all of the core of all of these films are all about. They embed this into the center of the film, but then you never know it, because what they're doing is they're feeding you parts of the truth to tell the lie, because there is power in the truth. And they know this, but then they use that power to tell the lie. And they laugh at all of us because nobody gets it. Nobody understands that Christ is at the center of the Wonder Woman story. That this is all about the two thieves at the cross. Okay? And her needing more, quote unquote, time. Okay? This is what Chris Pine says to her when he gives her the watch that reads 9 and 11, which was the birthday of Christ. I wish I had more time with you. You see? Time is sin. That's the sine wave. Because the sine wave represents actual measuring of time.
That war is a god that requires human sacrifice.
This is interesting because aside from the obvious, there are some very deep themes that seem to be like positive in this film. You know, alleviation of war from mankind. But the obvious staring in her face is the as above, so below. Okay, God's on earth. This is what this film is all about. And for those of you that are not familiar with what that means, the as above are the gods, the so below is us here on earth. Humans and gods mixing together, and that's what this whole film is about. And you see this depicted in the Freemasons in their symbol, the as above, so below. And also the Wonder Woman symbol looks just like the Freemason symbol, the as above, so below. Now, the story gets pretty deep. I'm not sure what the acclaim was of this film, why it was so popular, why it had such positive reviews. Probably because of the agenda, the basically female empowerment agenda. It makes some strides to bring the two sexes together, but most of the film is men bashing, to be honest. And that paradigm was created because the men in power in this world do not live the way Jesus wants us to live, and therefore have given examples to most men around the world and given basically men a bad name. It's basically creating the conflict and indoctrinating mankind with this paradigm, this conflict. So therefore, they're going to fix the problem, right? They create the problem, there's a reaction, and then now they're going to create the solution. But with the solution, they've gone overboard. It's resorted to feminism, male bashing, and so on and so forth. Wonder Woman is a god in this film. WW. Okay, those are the key letters in her name. And obviously you see depicted in the logo. And I've shown you guys on this channel how the as above, so below is inside of the Star of David. And we talked extensively about that before this film ever released on videos probably 5 or 6 weeks ago. I told you guys how the Star of David is the as above, so below. And I showed you how the Seal of Solomon actually depicts the ring. So you see the as above, so below. You see the same thing here. You're basically looking at the Freemason symbol encoded, okay? It's the same symbol. And I showed you how the Seal of Solomon binds the XX of the seal of Saturn. And we deduced from that that these two horizontal lines encapsulating the seal of Saturn as you can see here. So see, the two lines are missing, but if you put those lines in, you have the very same seal of Solomon. See that? And I told you that's probably how Solomon bound the demons of the Galatia. He was given the power to do that, to command the 72 demons. He had power over them in the Testament of Solomon it's spoken about. So we talked about this before Wonder Woman came out. And this whole film, and then we'll get into the plot, is about Wonder Woman conquering another god. And she was basically born to conquer the other god, who is Ares, the god of war. Now, I'm an Aries, so this immediately when I started hearing this and hearing it compared to the god of war, March being that month, the month of Aries, and all that we've talked about quinquatria and war and Mars, then it all began to make sense to me that this is what they were getting at. And I showed you the Seal of Solomon connection, the Jewish connection. But this goes even deeper because there was some controversy surrounding Wonder Woman. She's actually Jewish. She's from Israel. And there was a controversy surrounding it with the film. They had women-only screenings of this film. It is directed by a woman. And if you look here, they actually talk about the controversy surrounding this film when it comes to Israel. Now, it was banned in Lebanon, May 31st. Wonder Woman was banned in Lebanon after the campaign to boycott supporters of Israel asked the Lebanese government's Ministry of Economy and Trade to block the film because its star, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, served in the Israeli military. And there's the two G's, GG. That's probably why the Freemason symbol has the G in it. You see this? It's all connected. So she's GG. So she's double Freemason symbol that matches her Wonder Woman symbol. She served in the Israeli military. So this was the hype behind the film. It was actually banned. Some anti-Semitism stuff going on with that. Here's the women-only screenings, which is completely against what they claim to represent with this agenda, this feminist agenda. It's supposed to be about equality, not excluding certain groups. Okay, so there's the hypocrisy with this as well.